welcome back. So this is part 2 of Thursday's video. I'm going to be sharing all the stuff I found locally in Lincoln. 2 Thursdays ago I went to Lincoln Vintage Vinyl and picked up 6 LPs, and then today I actually drove back there to trade some more stuff in, and I left one behind a couple weeks ago and picked up on it now since I've kind of gave it a listen online because I wasn't very familiar with it. So I picked it up and I'll be sharing the stuff I got today at the very end. So just 2 LPs. And the other LP was from Leftys Records in Lincoln. So anyways, we'll dive into them here. So yeah, I haven't listened to all of these yet, especially the ones I got today. I haven't even put them on the turntable yet, but I'm pretty well familiar with them now, so I can talk about them. But we're going to start with kind of the way I found them in the record store 2 Thursdays ago. And this one was like, I think in the new arrivals bin, I believe, or it may have been in the rare collectible section. This is a record I've actually been looking for. 2 of these I've been looking for, and also, like I said, you know, these records I have shared on my past live streams. So if you didn't want to watch the 2 hours it almost was, you know, here's the video for you. Once again, just a little disclaimer. So yeah, very excited I picked this up and actually revisited it lately. And this is Underground Sunshine with Let There Be Light, and features their kind of a minor hit back in the day with their version of Birthday by the Beatles. And the first way I got exposed to this band was I actually found their single in a thrift store years ago, and I actually like the B-side quite a bit, and that's All I Want Is You. But I actually found out after listening to the studio cut, they're actually 2 different takes. This one is a lot more acid rock fused kind of sounding. This is quite a sleeper, actually. You know, their hit with Birthday was just kind of falls flat for me. It's just kind of bland, kind of generic pop, and it's not even really a good version. I'd rather listen to the Beatles version. And the remainder of the LP is pretty much covers except for 2 original tracks, and they're pretty decent cuts as well. All I Want Is You and the closing track, Take Me, Break Me. But honestly, this is definitely worth picking up because it usually ranges now between 15 to 25 bucks on average. And you know, I traded a lot of stuff in. I traded like $40 worth of records in and only paid 25 bucks of the total of $60. So these were pretty practically, you know, given to me, all these. But anyways, this LP is really worth checking out for their version of Gimme Some Lovin'. It's like a near minute or a 9-minute near fuzz fest of just sizzling acid rock fuzz guitar, you know, that kind of style from 1968. And this came out in '69, but it has that very classic fuzz tone we all love, and just rips throughout the whole song. There's quite a few moments like that. They do a couple CCR tracks, Proud Mary and what's the other one? Bad Moon Rising. They're decent, but overall, for how cheap this is, even for that 1 track alone, this is worth picking up. And these guys were from Wisconsin. And there's some footage online. They actually played on American Bandstand their singles, so it's worth checking out. One and only album, and they just pretty much called it quits after this. It's on the Intrepid label. Let's get a shot of the label here. Pretty crisp copy, despite the BB hole, the famous BB hole on a lot of these 1 album records. So yeah, Underground Sunshine. It's actually a lot better than what people may expect due to their hit. So they kind of rock out on some tracks. There's a couple brothers in the band as well. And this is another cheapie I've been actually looking for, and they just so happen to have it. A lot of people may know this band. This is Every Mother's Son with Every Mother's Son's back. Get it? Their backs. And it actually opens up. Um, this kind of gimmicky cover. And looking at the back, you can already tell, these are probably some clean cut boys playing like songs by the Turtles or some shit. But this is actually really decent. They get a little ambitious on this one compared to their debut, which had their hit "Come On Down to My Boat." It's a decent hit, but even the LP alone doesn't quite stand up to this one, their follow-up here. And this one's still pretty cheap, and you don't see anybody talking about it, and it's not necessarily got a lot of garage fuzz nuggets on it or anything, but it's got a lot of like at least a lot of effort in the pop sensibility on these tracks. Got tracks like Rainflowers, Dolls in the Clock, has like some dreamy aspects. My favorite's probably Proper Four-Leaf Clover. So they do get a little trippy in the sort of kind of pop psych area, despite what they kind of come off as, the kind of this kind of bratty, clean cut kind of, frat band, perhaps. But this is pretty excellent, and you can still find this, $10 or under, I'm sure, on the MGM label. So yeah, I've been kind of keeping kind of near the cheap side for a little bit here, and there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, I do recommend you guys checking this out if you're kind of leery about it at all. This next one I took a chance on as well. Had no clue what it was and didn't look it up in the store or anything. I just kind of took the $4 chance on this, and like I said, practically free from the trade. This is Eternity Express 2, so obviously their sophomore album. This is a band based out of Yakima, Washington, and the LP was recorded in Ohio. Yeah, Cincinnati. And this is basically like a Christian rock kind of group, and I would say the first two tracks are the strongest, Jesus is the Way and Where Could I Go. It's got some nice saturated sounding mellotron on the opening track, and then it's got some fuzz outbursts on the second track, Where Could I Go. And if you guys follow my other channel, Cosmic Minds, I uploaded the opening track to this record with the mellotron. Otherwise, it kind of falls flat after that. It doesn't really pick up the pace where it started, but really nice to discover it had a couple nice moments on here. So may not keep it forever, but it's still pretty cheap. And I heard their first album is pretty similar in style to this, so I don't know if I ever see them, dirt cheap. But yeah, it's like on a private label, Eternity. So yeah, overall pretty nice, those two opening tracks, but nothing to get your hopes up about. Okay, this next one, I don't know how in depth I'll go on this, but as far as going way back to my early days of vinyl collecting, I mean the very first days, I visited my first record shop, which was like almost an hour away from my hometown when I was probably 10 or 11 around there. And I just remember picking up a couple albums I didn't know much about. I knew about the Grassroots because I picked up their 45 single Temptation Eyes as a kid, and I really was like obsessed with that single because I had never heard anything like it. It was just kind of branching out into sort of late 60s kind of music, and this band was right along with me that day. I picked up Let's Live for Today by the Grassroots, and then this album I picked up Wild Thing by the Trogs as a kid, and I actually got the album for free back then because it didn't have the sleeve with it, and the record was already pretty beat, but I didn't know anything about condition or taking care of records. But I do remember that thing got even more beat after I played it because This is one of those albums where it really got me into the 60s and is actually quite an influential record for my taste as far as like where I evolved, and such. So I would say, after I just put this on, because I only gave it one spin and I was like, this took me right back. I just remembered all the songs I just sang, and Our Love Will Still Be There. This is the US version, of course, the US variant. And I was just obsessed with their sound. It was so different and out there. Of course, I knew the song Wild Thing back then. Everybody knows that song, but the next track, From Home, just kind of blew my mind for a while. I was like, damn, this is some heavy stuff for 66, I think it was recorded. It's they were quite a heavy band, kind of a heavy freak beat mod kind of band, and still have a lot of respect and, you know, a lot of respect for the Trogs, for what they did. So this is kind of just kind of a reacquisition to the collection, really, and it's a nice copy too. It's on the Blue Fontana. Had a sticker on the label there, but yeah. As far as now, my favorite tracks, I'd probably still go with From Home. Our Love Will Still Be There is a cool track. With a Girl Like You, how can you deny? That was probably like the perfect song to play at prom back in 1967, It's like the perfect song to go and take your girl out to dance with. So, yeah, the Trogs, big, big influential band for me. Then I picked this up. This is the only one I had not listened to yet. Of course, I know this album, but I'm not as familiar with it to tell you, really enough about them. But of course, I've seen people talk about this over the years, and still have to give this a strong listen. The cover's kind of beat. This is Truck with Truck Tracks. This came out in '71, I think, on Columbia. Got a cutout there, and sleeve's not in the best shape, but the price was right. And this is a fairly affordable hard rocker from as far as like US hard rock. It's got some progressive leanings if I remember correctly. Um, I have to give this another listen though to kind of really tell you what it's all about. But on the Columbia there, disc is pretty nice. It's like a VG plus. Um, yeah, so I can't even tell you where they're from actually. I would assume like maybe an East Coast group. They kind of have an East Coast sound. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, pick this up. Really can't say much about it right now, but it's one I've been after for sure. And then, I was kind of browsing around the store for quite a while until I never really realized they had a local section. And of course, hey, I'm trying to look for some local stuff, local rarities, and could not believe this was in the pile. After I saw the local, I was like, I gotta see what's in here. Still looking for the big ones, Graham James, and I'm looking for extra copies of the stuff I already have too, just to kind of build up the revenue or whatever. But I have never seen this one in person till now, and this is kind of like a grail. It's probably going to be one of the top 10 finds of the year. And I found this local bad boy. This is Bruce Hiller, A Gentle Beginning. It's kind of like a singer-songwriter, not quite psych folk, I would say, but it's more of a just a singer-songwriter, contemporary folk, sort of in the vein of Jackson C. Frank, I would say. This is a local album pressed in Lincoln, and a lot of Europeans are kind of looking for this record, right now, and you know, people with big Euro pockets, are just after all the private press folk music. But yeah, this is the other record. At least there's at least two records known on this label: Heaven and Bruce Hiller. And I also have the Heaven album, which is good day when I picked that up because I didn't know what that was either. But this is here's the label. This is just awesome, awesome find. Record, when I looked at the record, it kind of has some questionable marks on it, but it did play very well. It's just got some soft crackling here and there, but otherwise this is a kind of a local grail, finally acquired. I imagine copies pretty hard to find without ringware, but this is a phenomenal find. So I did upload one track onto YouTube, Mr. Eden, but pretty much there's really not one weak track, except maybe the two opening tracks, maybe, but the rest is just pretty solid writing for original tracks. Poet Cowboy, Places I've Been, It Often Rains, and it has like lyrics in that track like It Often Rains in San Francisco, so it's got kind of a hippie thing, but it's very much in the singer songwriter, but it will not bore you if you ever find this. So there's a little bit of a close up there. And I did manage to find one of the members on Facebook, but he has not contacted me back. I would like some more info on like, kind of what his story is, but all I could find was that he may have been a possible student at UNL, the college in Lincoln. But yeah, this was killer fine, and the price. I mean, you can't beat that, right? So just having paid 25 bucks in the store for this one alone is the score. So very exciting to have picked up a local rarity. Okay, and then today, like I said, I went back there today and picked this one up because I had actually left this behind last time, and I was like, well, I don't know if I'll actually like this or not. So I just kind of gave it a listen on YouTube when I left Lincoln, um, left the downtown Lincoln area 2 Thursdays ago, and I gave this a listen. I was like, I can't believe I like this. It just doesn't seem like my sort of thing, but I gave it a few more listens, throughout the week, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of growing on me. Am I going to get into this kind of scene now or what? But so this is Charlie D and Milo. This is on the Epic label. It's got kind of a psychedelic looking cover, and just looking at the whole presentation, it just caught my eye. The way they dress and just the whole presentation of it. And so it's actually kind of more of a country rock thing with some pop rock elements, mostly country rock, but there are some like moments of harpsichord, some strings, and it's kind of almost like a throwback to the 50s country music actually, which is kind of cool because it's like this is a late 60s record, or it might have came out in 70, I don't remember, but it's it came out in that era, and it's almost like a throwback to the 50s country, but with this sort of late 60s vibe as well. It's an interesting blend. So it's got some kind of like Beatlesque harmonies going on, which is kind of neat. And I don't really know anything else about this band yet, but I haven't even spun this. I just got this today, so I did trade some stuff in and just got it in the trade. So very happy to mark this off the list. And just kind of absorb that in my own pad, And then headed over to Leftys Records, which he's got a lot of good content, but I just can never find kind of what I'm looking for, it seems. But I like to stop in once in a while, and I occasionally find some good gems for real cheap. I found some great stuff over the years. I found the churls on A&M label there for a great price, and Eden's Children. I left that behind that day, but because I already had it. But I mean, it was marked down for 10 bucks. I should have just grabbed it though. But I found this for about 15, and I don't know. I think this is a relatively cheap album, but for the condition this is in, this is a beautiful copy. It's the only thing I came out with. The third rail, id Music. I mean, there's like literally no ringware on that black cover. And I think there is some mono promo copies. I've seen them around. This one I'd have to revisit, but I do remember liking it. It's kind of like a pop rock sound, a light pop sound with some edgy movements, kind of going towards a psychedelic territory with some baroque and kind of humorous writing, if I remember right. So this is going to be a fun one to revisit. I remember the track Jackrabbit was a really strange tune. Jackrabbit! It like does the same chorus throughout the whole song. I think my other favorites were From a Parachute and No Return. But yeah, this will be a fun listen. It's kind of yeah, it's got kind of an English sound to it, if I remember correctly. So, screenshot. We'll see if that's a screenshot for this video. Anyways, so hope you guys enjoyed. What else is there to say? I feel like there is. Well, this video is presented to you by Shinky Chin. It's just an awesome t-shirt, isn't it? Yeah. Shared that in my live stream. Had to go get out of my laundry basket. Redbubble is an awesome site. I mean, there's like t-shirts of Freeborn, Savage Resurrection. I mean, I'll go more broke on that site than records right now, but yeah, that's all I got to share. So thank you all for watching. If I don't see you till the 4th of July, have a good celebration, if there even is one anymore. Yeah, I tried actually trading in that Sly Stone back there, but he didn't take it because it had a nasty mark on it, but it actually plays pretty solid. Plays about VG. It's got some light crackle to it, but future VCLT package, who knows? So, with that said, let me know what you think of my finds, and we shall see you soon.